Every single skincare brand, every, dermatologist, every sunscreen maker is constantly telling us about how tinted sunscreens protect our skin from blue light. Well, how exactly does that work? Last time I checked, there was no SPF value of blue light protection. With tinted sunscreens, like there's no blue light PF like you have with SPF, and there's no standardized method. However, a sunscreen manufacturer by the name of Colorescience actually created their own protection percentage. This article is called Blue Light and Skin from Rolf Schutz. This visualization is really cool because you can see at the top we have the full spectrum. Something really cool that it shows here is that blue light penetrates the skin deeper than ultraviolet light all the way into the hypodermis. Chromophores are the things in the skin that affect pigment and what kind of gives your skin the color that it is. Now, what exactly is going on? Like when blue light goes into the skin, how is it causing you to produce like too much pigment? Well, there's this little protein or receptor called opsin 3, and little Miss Opsin gets activated by blue light when it hits it. And when, little Miss Opsin gets activated by blue light, it is like turning on a light switch, telling the skin to produce more melanin, produce more pigment. And then you have inflammation in the skin, like with acne, which triggers an overproduction of pigment. You end up with those dark spots left behind, right? That inflammation, the blue light combined with that. And then blue light can also cause that pigment to be harder to fade, especially in conditions like melasma. Blue light seemed to be a pretty big influence on melasma, specifically with like darker skin. Blue light causes the creation of more nitric oxide. The creation of more nitric oxide improves blood flow. So blue light can be really helpful in different types of wound healing. Blue light therapy can also be helpful in the treatment of acne, potentially. Now, every single skincare brand, every, dermatologist, every sunscreen maker is constantly telling us about how tinted sunscreens protect our skin from blue light. Well, how exactly does that work? Because last time I checked, there was no SPF value of blue light protection. However, a sunscreen manufacturer by the name of Colorescience actually created their own protection percentage. They published their research on this in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology. I'll read the full title, which you can also see here. The iron oxides and novel skincare formulations attenuate blue light for enhanced protection against skin damage. They specifically used a technique called diffuse transmittance spectroscopy or spectroscopy. Typically, this kind of stuff is done with plates, like clear plates. That's actually how they measure UVA protection in Europe. They don't do PPD like they do in Japan. They do a UVA PF on these plates. Instead of shining the light on plates, they used a hollow sphere. Specifically, looked at yellow iron oxides, black iron oxides, and red iron oxides. Yes, there's different colors of iron oxides. It's not all iron oxides are the same. And they showed this fantastic attenuation chart. We always see this with UV, where you can see like the different filters, how they go up and down and across. Here they showed that the different colored iron oxides also have their own attenuation curves, and you have to combine the different colors to get full coverage, as close towards that 500 nanometer range as you possibly can. They looked at how much visible light was able to go through the sunscreen, and then they used that to create an attenuation percentage. Here you can see a chart of the sunscreen products that they use from their brand. You can see with their eye cream, their ever popular eye cream, about 20% of the visible light made it through. And so they gave it an attenuation or a VISPF of, is that what it is? VISPF? I don't know. They gave it a score of 82.2%. which is fantastic. Yeah. What are good tinted sunscreen options? So clearly the Aven Compact is great. This is the texture more of a foundation. So I would say put on create like a sunscreen wardrobe with it if you're interested in that. And then, of course, Colorescience Sunscreens, fantastic. I love this. I love it. I love it. They have, this is the classic texture, or the classic sunscreen. That's kind of the consistency of it. And it has a very peachy tone. It's perfect for me. They have the Flex sunscreens, which I don't particularly like. They're a little bit heavy for me. They feel more like makeup, but they're great. And then, of course, the sunscreens that they publish in here. Now, they are pretty expensive, however. So a much better option, I would say, that's completely mineral is the Elta MD UV Physical is fantastic. Beauty of Joseon has some too, but like I said, like, if you're looking for quantified visible light protection, you're really gonna wanna go with either Colorescience or Ven, because they're the only brands I'm aware of that have actually done research on the amount of visible light protection on the iron oxide formulas that they've made, the proprietary blends. What can we take away from all the fancy sciencey stuff we talked about today? Visible light goes very, very deep into the skin, a whole lot deeper than UV, and it triggers that opsin 3 switch, which causes more production of pigment. It generates free radicals, which can be very therapeutic, great for skin diseases. Ultraviolet light is also really good for diseases like psoriasis, which is pretty cool. You can like take specific wavelengths of ultraviolet light in an office and use it to treat certain skin conditions, inflammatory skin conditions, which is pretty cool. And so when you're using a tinted sunscreen, when you use it with a blend of iron oxides, even foundation to a certain extent, you're turning that switch off and you're protecting the skin to prevent that overproduction of pigment from happening. In Colorescience, I mean, they're the GOAT. They overwhelmingly have done so much of the research on visible light and the way it impacts pigment and how it impacts the skin. I'm really, really excited for more brands to do the work and do the research. I think, you know, Neutrogena, hopefully they do more visible light research. Who else? Maybe Elta MD. I don't know if they have the capital to do that or not, but I would imagine they do. They're pretty popular. I would love to see a more regulated, consistent PFVIS, visible light protection factor, or whatever Colorescience called it. I don't know. That would be great because, you know, one tinted sunscreen might offer fantastic 82% protection or even 90% protection. And another tinted sunscreen could offer like 40% protection. And there's no way of knowing that right now. And so I really hope that more brands study that and get it going. Thank you for spending time with me today. Oh, got sunscreen. You gotta rub it in for it to work. You gotta rub it in. Thank you for spending time with me today. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed the series, definitely give me a like, subscribe if you want to see more stuff. And there we go. I hope you have a great rest of the day, great rest of the night, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.